Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream today. We're starting or we're resuming after I think near about 3 to 4 months now. So nice to see you again. Let's I think wait for a few minutes so that everyone joins and then we can start. Wait for another maybe 2 to 3 minutes. Can you all confirm if the audio and video is looking good? Whoever is online so far. Hey Akash. All right. I think we can begin. And whoever is not here in the live stream, probably they can see the same recording later because on LinkedIn, I think it's available forever. So you can um, watch it later as well. To set the context today, we'll be discussing about 3 to 4 important agendas. One is because I've been getting this question a lot online and offline because I do content creation very actively. So in my DMs, I get a lot of times this message about what is AI agent and what is mechanical agent. And the trend that I see is we call almost everything as an AI agent nowadays if it works automatically. But that's not how it is. If a automation script is running in your application, that is AI agent. If automated workflow is running, that is not an AI agent. Right? Then what exactly is the AI agent? Let's try to understand that today. What is AI agent? What is not AI? Apart from that, we also touch base on what are the different AI tools we can use in order to boost the productivity and save some time for us. Because gone are the days when we were using the normal notepad, creating daily updates or weekly reports. Those are completely manual stuff. So we should be avoiding that completely and use all the AI tools which the entire world is using at the moment, right? So, in my personal or I would say on professional um, front, wherever I use these AI tools in order to save my time and save my efforts and increase the productivity, maybe I'll just share those key items. Apart from that, I think Akash, one of the follower, he has asked for understanding on build an AI agent, but how do you make sure that the security has been in place? the cyber security aspect of it or compliance aspect of it is in place. So we'll briefly touch upon that part as well. And lastly, we will talk about maybe how do we increase our AI community? How do you join the right community so that you get right kind of resources, right kind of leads in order to grow in your career? Maybe at the end we will discuss about that, and finally we'll take some questions if there's any. All right. So maybe let's begin with the AI agent part. So on AI agent and mechanical agent difference, I had prepared some resources. Let me see if I can pull that up. Here it is. This is one of the AI agent and tools differentiation I try to make. Like there are 3 to 4 different slides we can talk about. So this is one of the first slide where is a mechanical agent description and AI agent description. And you can clearly see 3 keywords in this and 3 keywords in this, which makes it um, that clearly steps apart both of the agent workflows. In mechanical agent, imagine it like you build an application where you're building a mechanical agent. Whenever you write a logic, you have the logic in a way that if there is X, then there is Y. That means it is completely fixed. Your X is fixed, your Y is fixed, and it's completely deterministic and highly predictable. That you can guess it and predict it very easily. And that determinism, because it is very high, that is what we call as mechanical agent. Give you an example. A lot of times we get an email with certain email subjects. Let's consider an example of invoice email. So somebody has sent us an email with email subject as request for downloading invoice. Now, my application, I'll write a logic where I'll specifically check the keyword invoice in my email subject. So if invoice is present, that invoice word is present in my email subject, then I'll execute the logic for downloading that, which is quite deterministic and quite fixed, right? So I'm just checking for keyword and then I'm doing certain action after that. But what if and this is mechanical agent, this is mechanical logic. But what if your user is sending an email, but rather than writing invoice in that email subject, it has written PO report, PO receipt, finance report, something like that, which doesn't have invoice as a word, but technically they have shared the same report, right? So the entire expectation remains same, but instead of writing invoice, they return something else. Now your mechanical agent will definitely fail here because there is no invoice. So that's where AI agent comes in the picture, where even if you write something else semantically or equivalent thing, AI agent will be able to perform the action. For example, in AI agents, you will write some prompt, which is actually a coordinate kind of capability for your AI agent. So in AI, I'll maybe touch upon how technically it works. The LLM model that we inside it, that is a brain that decides the reason behind it. And now it's nothing but the coordination tool. It's like a hands and legs of your agent, which is nothing but your prompt. So that's how, on top of it, the wrapper we call it as an AI agent. Exact same request, which is about downloading an invoice. If it comes to AI agent, first request, it send us an email subject invoice as a we'll accept it and download it. But second request that we received, it did not have invoice as a word, but it definitely had purchase order, finance report, this kind of words. AI agent will still be able to pick it successfully and pass it to the download functionality and it will download it. So that's how the predictability is. Why? Because your AI agent has context awareness. That what is the context of performing that particular action. It's highly adaptive based on the dynamic request. It will start adapting to that request based on what was being asked. That adaptability is there, and the multi-step nature is already there. I think multi-step is something which is uh, generally generally related to nowadays with multi-agent flows. That's going into much more technical, but for now, just understand it in a way with this example that this mechanical agent which is different, and this AI agent which is different. Mechanical agent, there is high predictability, even there is high, even if there is a non-deterministic nature of your outcome, still it will be able to pick that. So, over here, maybe I'll just share this with all of the end of this session. Great. The next thing is maybe I'll take a pause before moving into the next part and take if there's any questions. All right. Maybe we can move on. Okay. So any AI tools that you can use to boost your productivity and save your time. I personally do save 10 hours to 15 hours of my time because I don't want to, invest my times in something which is manual, something which is repetitive, and something I know what's a predictable outcome of that. Because anything that you're doing that has these three constraints, you should just go and automate that using some AI tools, or else use some existing AI tools that you can use and give your task to that tool and let it perform, and you can work on much more valuable task in your week. So that's how I do. And in order to do that, first of all, the thinking tools that we all use, like there's nothing um, offbeat that I use. I use Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, sometimes Perplexity as well. But among all of this, one of my favorite, which belongs to and then which helps me in my work, which is kind of AI and tech savvy work, is Claude. And Claude is really good with first of all the content creation, content generation, content writing aspect of it, and reasoning behind it. So, to give you an example, because I do create a lot of content on YouTube's, if I want to make 1 minute reel, I provide that context to Claude directly saying that, okay, I am a content creator for so and so channel. This is my niche of history and geopolitics. And this is what I'm thinking. My topic of the reel would be, let's say, 1947 India Pakistan partition. I think that's a topic. And then I want to cover what were the atrocities happened during those couple of weeks which post the partition, because population got exchanged. So I'll give the Claude that context, and it will I will ask for an action saying, give me the reel with Hindi as a language. Then it will be just 1 minute reel. So give me um, the content which has length lesser than the general episodes. And once I define the outcome, I'll hit enter and I'll get the script as it is. So that's how the think tools I work upon. In the coding background, somebody who's new to GenAI world or AI, like the vibe coding part of it, I would strongly recommend Cursor. I'm sure somebody who's experienced enough, they might be using Cursor very often. But those who are not using it, let's go for Cursor. It's really good. Um, you you can literally write it in English, creating. I'll give you an example again. So if you want to create user module APIs, what do you need? Create user, read user, update user, delete user, put user, like the update user. So These 4 5 APIs, if you just give attribute like these are the 10 attributes I need for creating a user, and then below just write one line that you can create an API for create, read, update, delete, all four. Trust me, it is going to create that entire set of APIs in within 5 to 10 minutes. And after that, it's just matter of commit, push, and raise PR. So that's one example of it, but which is very basic and simple example. But you can take cursor into very advanced level as well. That if you want to scan the entire repository and find out some specific piece of code, severity, vulnerabilities, cursor can do that as well. With cursor, we have Cloud Code, which is which has been recently dropped by Anthropic, and that also works really good. I would still prefer cursor, considering ID environment and everything, but Cloud Code is also really good. Anytime we use for workflows. Um, for example, if you want to keep on creating LinkedIn posts, one way is that you will write post manually, upload image manually, and then publish it. But rather than doing that, you can go on an N10 and then create a proper workflow where you paste your content, what you're thinking of, the idea behind that, and then upload some 2 3 images, and you can ask it that every Friday 12 p.m. IST you can upload one post with so and so topics, and it will keep on doing periodically. So you don't have to do that. But ensure that before. So from content experience, I would say completely AI generated posts or content is not going to work. You need to have a human touch as well. So just be cautious about that. But yeah, N10 on action tools, this is one of the greatest tool we have. Then Notebook LM. If you want to remember something, what I have used Notebook LM is for, I'll give you my use case. So if you want to give some interviews, if you want to record a podcast, um, if you want to give interviews or take interviews, either ways, those things you can go on Notebook LM, pass the context, pass all the file relevant files of the podcast, and we create an audio file, the respective audio file. Nowadays video file is also available, so you can create that and generate it and then upload like wherever you want on your platform. And let's say you are a manager or somebody who's working in C-suite, like maybe CEO, CTO, or senior leadership team, and you don't want to write a lot of things on weekly basis. So I'm sure if you're on that position, you're working, then every week you are having at least one meeting where you go, you pass the context about the vision, roadmap, the progress, the business aspects, how much sales did we do, right? So if you want to avoid that, telling that manually, then you can save 1 hour of your time as well as your team's time, because you're not calling anybody on call as well. So you cancel all the calls, go to Notebook LM, pass your thoughts, ideas, vision, roadmap, whatever you want to communicate to your team, and just ask that, please create audio version of this, give it to me. I want to pass that to my team. It will give you very precise and very articulate, thoughtful audio clip of what you're thinking, and then you can just download and send it to your team. They will consume that particular audio offline. So that's a very good aspect of saving like 1 hour or 2 hour of your time. And this is one use case. So if you're doing these meetings, such meetings throughout the week, one meeting per day, which is 30 minutes or 1 hour, then you'll be able to save at least, I mean, 3 to 5 hours of your time every particular week. So that's one good aspect of it. Notion AI is one of my favorite tools. So if you guys are able to see my screen, I'm not sure, but I'll definitely send some links. Notion AI is where you can keep your daily notes. Today, whatever I've worked, these three key action items, it was in progress, pending, blocked, likewise. So you go there and maintain your notes every day, Monday to Friday. And Friday evening, you want to send some report to somebody that what was the progress. One way is that you go through all the notes manually and then um, create a summary of it by passing it to Claude or ChatGPT, and then you once have a final summary, you go over an email, and send it to your reporting managers. Right? That time itself would take 15 minutes, sometime 30 minutes as well, depending upon you want to deep dive into your notes. But how you can save this? Monday to Friday, whatever you are working upon, keep all those notes inside Notion AI. Right? There's a place to create notes and create a Notion AI agent, because there's a provision to. Let me see if I can share my screen to. I can show you the Notion AI actually. Yeah, here it is. So in Notion AI, there's a place to create agents as well, where you can go and ask, okay, give me a summary of my last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks, and because all your notes are present in the same framework, like you don't have to go outside like to chat GPT or anything, and it will give you summary. But also you can customize your agent, so you can go into create custom agent, and you can provide your requirements. You can tell that integrate it with my calendar, which is this, for example. And once you integrate that with your calendar, it will identify your meetings as well. You can configure your managers as well, manager email ID, and etc etc. And then you can ask the prompt saying, every Friday 6 p.m. in the evening, please send the summary of these notes with supporting evidence, etc etc. And then you don't have to worry about sending it, finding an email every day, like every particular week, right? So you can save those 30 minutes of your time just by doing this. And I'm giving this one example. If you're doing summarization for some other meetings as well and sending the report, you can save your time there also. So Notion AI is one of the great tool that we have. Let me stop sharing my screen. Right. Apart from Notion AI, what else do we have? Let's see. All right. So right. So you can see the meeting preparation that I talked about, that can save you 2 to 3 hours every week. The first draft thing that we spoke about, for sales, for meetings, for business and client meetings, if you want to draft anything, you can literally save 4 hours using all these tools. And if you want to code without your team, like imagine you're a product manager or a QA person and the QA engineering team member, and because you do not have a great exposure to coding every single day, you don't have a context of all those programming language framework and everything. But you can literally do the exact same thing using some of the tools. If you want to build any web application, if you want to build any particular feature, if there's an existing product, you want to make changes in that. One way is you will create a ticket, epics, roadmaps. You will go to your engineering team. They will understand the requirement. Then, if the context has gone really well, the requirement is clear. Then you have passed it really right. They consume the requirement, converted that, they developed it, they shipped it. This whole phase will take 2 to 3 weeks, right? Instead of assigning all these things to your engineering team, probably do it by yourself by using something called as, um, I'll open another PDF probably for your better understanding. All right, here it is, and let me play it. So these are the tools. I've created a broader list of tools. Probably you can screenshot it and use it later as well. The one that I'm talking about is this one, app and web building. So Lovable is one of the tool that you can use to create any prototype. So whatever your designers are imagining, if you want to create a web application using that, but slightly on a functional aspect, because on Figma you cannot create fully functional website, right? So you can create that fully functional website using Lovable. I've created my own portfolio which is attached on my LinkedIn as well, using this Lovable website. So that is good for prototyping only, not for, like, you cannot do high level of customization on tech level on Lovable, but for prototyping it is really good. There's a Bolt AI and Replit AI. These are the tools which is really, really good for web applications. So if you want to build front end, back end, database, understand the security aspect of it, then yes, you can use Replit AI. Then there's a V0 by Versal. Even that you can use by using Replit. So all these tools, somebody who is interested in building web application or mobile application um, from scratch, they definitely can use it. All right, let's see if we got any question. How do you scale? Okay, Subhan has asked, how do we scale multi-agent systems in terms of cost and latency? Right, very good question, Subhan. So, um, multi-agent system, because it is not just like a traditional web application that we need to build, deploy on one of the app service and it's done. It's not like that. And nowadays, I'll give you brief context about how things are happening across the industry, because AI product requirements are increasing exponentially. If your company has 10 products, and 5 years back, if five products were 50% of your products were AI, 50% were non-AI. But now, today, as we stand in 2026, it's not the case. In fact, in today, like all those 100% of the products should have an AI. And what's happening is, because AI requirement is increasing, the number of applications which are coming to the market about AI driven application, that is also increasing, because that requirement of building an AI application is increasing. We are asking for more cloud resources. Because we are asking for more cloud resources, it is creating a demand to create more chips and CPUs and other aspects, right? So because there's a high increase of demand in resources that we need, like the data centers, the chips, in order to run the AI agent, because that balance is not good enough at this moment, the cost of building an AI driven product is increasing very high, right? And because of that, the layoffs and resource cutting, as like the downsizing of team, is happening across the world at the moment, that you guys can see over the news as well. But to answer specific why I gave this context is, the cost is directly proportional to what you want to build in your agent. And and we'll have to be very, very careful with, if you have 10 different product, what are the definite multi-agent orchestration product, um, because if it is not multi-agent, then the cost won't be that high. If it is multi-agent, that means you are calling 10 different resources that will need more compute power, and that will increase more cost and latency in your system. Now let's come to your question, where, let's say there's a product that has five different agents. You give one request, that request now first decides among five agents which agent should we route to, right? And after routing is completed, um, and response is grabbed, if that response has caching support, then first you can boost your latency by introducing that caching mechanism. Second, the prompt that we write, if it is 10 line of prompt, which is enough for your task to be performed, good. Let's not overload the prompt unnecessarily and make it like bulky enough, so that there's a good amount of hallucination introduced into the system, and that will introduce the latency as well. That is another aspect of it. Third is the LLM decision. So we call it as adapter pattern in your multi-agent orchestration, where if your user is sending just hi, then do not route that request to the high compute power driven LLM models. You don't need like the state of the art model to serve this request, right? Hi can be answered as hello, welcome to my product XYZ. It's a simple reply, right? So for that simple reply, you do not burn your token with the high pricing LLM models. Just route that particular model to a low cost LLM model and get your request from there. So if you use and burn your token very wisely, then you definitely can save your money. That is another third aspect of it. Latency wise, caching mechanism that I talked about, I think that you can introduce. Secondly, the network calls that you are um, if your agent has some tools, one tool is calling 10 different network calls, try to minimize those network calls as much as possible, because network calls are red flags for any AI agent tools. um, and then if you have a genuine requirement, go for it, but then that is that will come at the cost of introducing latency into the system. Even if now you go to chat gpt and upload a pdf and ask some specific task to do, it won't give you in 1 second or 2 seconds, right? It will still take 10 to 15 seconds, sometimes 25 seconds, sometimes 50 seconds as well. So the request is directly proportional to the latency that you are expecting. I hope I've answered your question, Subha. If there's any follow-up question, please go for it. And let me see if there's any other questions as well. Is my screen visible now? Okay, I hope it is, because now I can see it's visible. Just maximize the screen. Yeah. So here it is. And there are some GenAI platforms as well, like Google AI Studio, Open Router API, Hugging Face, and Langsmith. This you can use for if you're dealing with any requirement, high skill requirement of building GenAI applications. Then these are the tools, and there are like multiple aspects to um, choosing of the different framework depending upon the requirement as well. And one more interesting tool I would like to share today is Miro. So, as I think we have this requirement of building an architecture, building design diagrams now and then, right? So we always look for creating a design diagram before jumping into anything specifics. So if you want to build a software, you start from design first. And to build those designs, one way is to go on draw.io. Then there is a lucid chart. These are the some favorite tools of everybody. But if you want to save your time, I would really recommend Miro AI, one of the tool, where you can pass any requirement and it creates tool for you. Let's see it live. Can you um, sorry, create a class diagram, let's say, for for college management system, for example, with an entities like student, department, teachers, labs, etc. And you can give more specific requirements, but for now I'm giving only this much, and I'm asking for class diagram. Now it's thinking just like how any other AI agent thinks, and it will create a nice canvas for you. On canvas you can see this is thinking, and then it has created a lovely class diagram for you, right? In this class diagram you can see the course, the lab. Now just look at the articulation of it. I didn't ask for course, right? But it still understood that we're building a college management system, and it came by its own with this particular entity, course entity, and it has given the required functions and required variables for this to run, Then there's a classroom, lab, department, student entity, then teacher entity, which is a we can consider all of these as class and how those classes are related to each other. See, it really took me literally 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, I would say less than 5 minutes to create this particular class diagram. Now, if you want to make more detailed level of specific changes, then go ahead and start making those changes. It's that impactful, and this is becoming industry standard now. Everybody across the world who is working on GenAI application and GenAI solutions architect, I would say those kind of profiles, they prefer Miro AI. So give it a try. This is a really good tool. And one more interesting tool I would like to share. A lot of tools, guys, by the way. Um, so one more interesting tool. We create a lot of PPTs, right, nowadays. One of the PPTs, like one of my favorite tool is this one, GenSpark. There are two industry standard tools for creating PPTs nowadays. I'll give you one example. I created this PPT, right, for today's live session, and it created me these three slides with really good information, aesthetics, and very short and simple. Like the slides are not too busy as well, and it kept it really clean and simple. How did I do that? So I went here, I provided this particular context with this agenda first to Claude, right? I just copy pasted this to Claude. Then Claude gave me this information, which I copy pasted here, and it gave me literally all these three slides right here and here with detailed view of it. So GenSpark tried for any PPTs, somebody who's working in non-tech specifically or tech specifically, because in tech we are literally bored of creating PPTs. We don't want to do that. We will rather code for next 6 hours than creating PPT for 30 minutes. So we will use such AI tools in order to generate our PPTs. So GenSpark is one. Then there's another great tool which is called as Gamma AI. This tool also you can explore for creating presentations or web page and other aspects also you can create, but this is specifically specialized for creating presentations. So yes, these are some interesting tools that you can definitely use. Let me see if there's anything else that I missed on. Miro is done. Notebook AI LLM. Yeah, Notebook LLM, I just gave an overview of that. Yeah, so you can look into this screen, like this slide, and um, like address all of this, try to understand and learn about all these tools offline as well. And feel free to slide into my DMs and slide into my DMs about understanding these tools specifically. Uh, Not sure. Some folks are talking about screen is not visible. Not sure what's happening because I can see the screen is visible. Okay, guys, maybe some technical glitch for now. I'll share all these documents definitely to you. But yeah, let's go ahead and discuss more about the other aspects. One last thing I would like to probably discuss in the tech agenda today is the security question, which was asked by Akash. How do we ensure that we have a really good security for our AI agent? Number one, guardrails. So any AI agent where you want to protect, first of all, PI information, the personally identifiable information, which is we call it as PII. Then every AI framework has their own guardrails, as well as you can create your custom guardrails. Those guardrails you can command those guardrails saying you take care of identifying the PI information in the request. For example, you passed a request text as um, can you write me an email with so and so agenda for this email, this phone number, and for this name. So name, phone number, email, this is a PI information. We don't want to save it into the system, right? So in your AI agent layer, before even passing it to the main agent and prompt, you should place your guardrails in place in between. And those guardrails will accept that request first, identify it, and throw back the request. It will block the request that we will not allow to pass the PI information inside. So first line of defense is your guardrails. Then second, okay, I'm really sorry, guys. I can see at least two, three messages. Screen is not shared. Not sure how is that happening because I can see the screen was shared. I'll see that offline as well. Sorry for that. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yeah. So one is guardrail aspect of it. Secondly, the content safety module. So y- once you receive the request, now your request, if it has PII, you blocked it, you throw back the request or block the request. But once the request is accepted, it is processed in the backend. And what if your output generates a PI information and commits or saves something in the database? Even that is a security breach, I would say, because you are messing up with the PI information. Such thing also you can pass through the output guardrails. So to give you one specific example, there's a tool called as Agno AI tool, and I'll pass that in a comment as well. Agno AI tool or a framework, sorry, not tool. And in that framework, you can have your input guardrails and output guardrails both. So before passing that information even into the user facing, you can have those output guardrails in place in between. So even if you can ensure that input and output both are scanned before exchanging to each other. That's another aspect of it. Then there's something called as prompt injection guardrails. If your prompt, like somebody is trying to pass HTML, SQL, or any script language which is malicious in content, then you can stop that particular request using content, this particular prompt injection guardrail as well. So likewise, there are different type of guardrail. There's a jailbreak guardrail as well. You can take care of all this information, security by using guardrails. So like that's about guardrails mainly. Then apart from guardrails, what else can be a security threat? So the network that your agent is deployed into, that network should be fully protected using, like, maybe let's say VPN firewalls, because on cloud level, infra level, there's a the game like changes completely. On application level, you can place guardrails and take care of encryption standards. You can pass TLS 1.1 or 1.2. Right now, I think now there's a 1.1 mechanism in place, TLS 1.1, which is a security protocol. Um, then, if the data is being exchanged, any data is of two types, right? So data, either it is in transit or data in commit. That means the data is either in network. The network data can be taken care by TLS 1.2 protocol. Data in commit can be taken care by AES 256. AES, that means Advanced Encryption Standard. That is one of the security or cryptography protocol. We ensure that any file we are saving, any data we are saving into the database or into the storage container somewhere in the cloud, it should be protected by this protocol. So that is another aspect of how we can take care of cybersecurity here. Yeah, and then there's a network layer. So guardrails on application level, network and firewalls on a cloud level, and on cloud level, again on the resource level, you can have is AES 256 and TLS 1.2 protocol. So three different standard and very basic level of security you can take care of, and there are some advanced level of item as well, but let's skip those for this particular session. Um okay, maybe one more question by Himanshu. Himanshu has asked, what is toolens and how does it help? Okay, so Himanshu has, like, the let's address this particular question with bit more background and the context. When we build the agent, we just don't want to build that agent for our local computer, right? So we want to build that agent and ship it into production system so that our live customers are using it, right? If we want our live customers using it, Then we need to ensure different metrics are taken care. Like, your agent should not misbehave with your customer. Like, it's not replying back with offensive messages like F word or anything which is offensive. It is not replying with that. Then secondly, if it is sensitive, replies are sensitive or not. Sensitive as in, if the reply contains something which is derogatory about religion, language, caste, region, gender, something like that. So if it is sensitive or not. Then the correctness. If you asked X, the response is Y, then that Y, how much is it correct? And there is some threshold to that. So the correctness also comes into that. Then biasness. Because you're a fintech, the domain of that agent is fintech, you should not be, biased towards your answer regarding some financial queries. Um, there's no example coming to top of my mind, but biasness is very, very core aspect of human behavior, right? And since you are providing artificial intelligence, that intelligence is thinking something and providing some responses, that should not be biased. I don't know, like, I should mention this one example I remember, which is not slightly technical, but probably religious level. I don't want to hurt anybody's sentiment, guys, but I'll still give this example. If you go now on ChatGPT and ask about some religions god, with something which is not right, it will block you. That request will not be served. But some other religions, if you just change the religion and ask the exact same query, it is going to reply with proper actions and proper information and everything, right? So that was one thing which I tried like long time back, that is coming to my mind. But biasness in your response is very natural, and that can be eliminated and detected by some tools. So the metric that I just mentioned are correctness, biasness, sensitiveness. Then there would be context relevance. Let's say you're you have provided the answer, but how relevant the context is for that particular answer, you can define that also. So all these metric evaluations we should be doing, and we call that as a agent evaluation, right? And for agent evaluation, and why we do that, because that gives me confidence, right? So as a business, if my bias is not present, I'm able to check the biasness and it is not present. If I'm able to check sensitiveness and it is not present, all these metrics are evaluated and threshold is very low, that means I have a great confidence my agent is performing well, and let's take it into production. And that is exactly where TrueLens comes into the picture for agent evaluations. I hope that answers your question, Imanshu. And like that, there are some other tools as well for agent evaluation. Like, there's something called as deep eval. There's something called a langfuse. Langfuse is generally used and very well known for um, prompt management and managing traces, sessions, and observability aspect of it. But it also gives a feature called as LLM as a judge. You can use that feature and literally articulate all these metrics over there and evaluate your agent how it is performing. So yeah, that's about agent evaluation. I hope I've answered your question, Imanshu. Let me know if there is any follow-up questions. Thank you for asking. All right. Yeah, that was quite a long answer, by the way. Um, all right. Apart from that, if there's any other questions, we can take it. It's 1:48 now. But if there's any questions, guys, feel free to ask. Or you can ask it offline as well if you have any other questions. And it's nice to see that I'm getting questions after 3 months of gap in the live sessions. We'll keep on doing these sessions. Probably after a gap, this is first time we are meeting again. In the upcoming sessions, I'll make it bit more interactive, and uh, more like, obviously the screen share stuff, I'll check it for sure what's happening here, but in future we'll check it again. I wanted to touch upon the the AI community and how do we network. I'll just mention that in next 30 seconds and we can wrap it after that. So In this fast pacing world where the AI disruption is happening at an exponential level. Obviously, there are some AI bubble theories also, which some people say AI bubble is going to burst very soon. But let's be optimistic that AI is going to survive for upcoming decades, um, and probably centuries as well. Let's be optimistic about that and see how, because the future of this is going to be in AI, will have to be adaptable to what are the different changes happening across the world. How do you know what's happening around the world? You reach out to the right communities. You cannot do that by sitting in one cubicle or sitting inside one room and just accessing. Even if you're doing it virtual and local, um, that is not going to happen, and that's not going to be effective or productive. Then what is the best way? The best way is go for networking events, right? There are some regional level, national level, and international level event happening across the world. Go to those events, talk to the industry leaders who are working actively in AI, build your LinkedIn connections, exchange your socials, ask them the right questions, and keep it like at least once in a month or twice in a month. Go for these events and build your network, because that is going to help you next. If you start doing it now, and if you build this connection and keep on learning, in next 3 years you will see the big change in yourself, that you have adapted a lot of changes. You have abundance of your network wealth, because your network is net worth. I say that very often, and that's I genuinely believe in. um, okay, that's about networking. But what are the different tools you can use or you go for, like understanding what are the different networking tools? Meetup.com is one great website where you can go and understand like what events are happening in your city or in your country. um, Second is LinkedIn. You can go in a networking tab and start checking what are the different events happening in your region. If you're interested in genai or digital, or let's say DevOps level, like platform level events, you can literally filter out and identify those events over there. Then you can go onto Instagram, start following the other communities, and you will start seeing ads. So this is one hack I would give, that go on Instagram and start following some event community, and after few weeks you will start observing ads relevant to that particular event. So these are three important things that you can do in order to identify the networking event, then go to the event, attend them, build your network, and expand it. That's going to give you a lot of exposure. Amazing. So that's about the networking as well. You guys can let me know later in my DMs or in then the chats over here as well, that what do you want to know about in upcoming live sessions. I'd be more than happy to touch upon those areas and discuss about it, because I'm learning with you guys. So it's not just about giving knowledge. Whenever I explain something, I do my research and come here. So I'm teaching and learning both at the same time, because teaching is the best learning. That's what they say. And with that, I think we can end today's live session. Thank you for joining. Thank you for all these questions, guys. It was really helpful, and it's really nice to see all these questions coming up after so long. Thank you for joining again, and see you in the next one.